Welcome to DCU Worlds. Hey guys, we have news about the DCU. We'll talk about Peacemaker and the big appearances this series should have in episodes 6, 7, and 8, specifically in episodes 6 and 8. James Gunn also confirms that actor Chris Pratt is in the DCU. Why does he confirm this? I'll explain and read what he said in the article. We'll also discuss Chris Pratt and which character he's set to play in the DCU. So, folks, let's cover all this and also about the DCU. But just before we start, don't forget to click the like button, comment below, and subscribe for more content like this. Also, follow our other social networks, Instagram and Threads, where I'll keep you updated about this universe we love so much. All right, now let's start talking about the Peacemaker series. Well, the actor playing Rick Flag Sr., Frank Grillo, was asked if David Corenswit's Superman will appear in Peacemaker, and this actor is known for giving spoilers, even having trouble with that at Marvel. Back to the article, he says, I think there's definitely some bad blood between Rick Flag and Superman, but I also agree that they're not always available to show up when needed. That said, I don't think you've seen more than 5 episodes, so we can't really say anything. Then, James Gunn was also asked about the last episodes of Peacemaker Season 2. That basically no one has seen, not even the press, and we fans haven't watched either, so it's clear they are very secretive about this cameo. I imagine it must be a well-known DC character appearing in these last episodes. Well, James Gunn then completes the sentence saying, we have some really big stars from the DC universe that will appear near the end. Well, I think Frank Grillo almost confirmed that Superman will appear in Peacemaker. And not just Superman, but I actually think Superman will indeed show up. James Gunn even talks about these DC stars that will appear, and the Peacemaker series is now connected to the DCU, meaning this series, which is critically acclaimed and loved by fans, is for adults, not kids. It's a series that's here within the DCU, and they will likely bring in other characters into this production. We had the Justice Gang at the beginning in the first episode. They appear in a cool interaction, and they are likely recruiting members for their team, meaning this recruitment of Justice Gang members signifies they are building a team, and it can't be said they are a super team, they're a sub-team. Metamorpho joined the team, it seems, at the end of Superman. He must have indeed joined. Then we have Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific, and Metamorpho. So I think it's quite possible that Booster Gold comes, or maybe Ted Kord alongside Booster Gold, and thus the Justice Gang will one day become the Justice League International. I'm seeing many people saying, for example, that Hawkgirl will be in the Justice League of America. I'm not too sure about that because, think about it, there will be 2 Justice Leagues, right? The Justice League International, which is from the Keith Giffen and J.M. Mattas phase. That's why you're already seeing Guy Gardner and other characters like Metamorpho and such. And the Justice League of America, they're already positioning Supergirl to be the 4th pillar of DC. So it's very likely that that we might not see Isabella Merced initially in the Justice League of America. It could happen later, but that also depends on the character's narrative arc. Because there are characters who will have much deeper narrative arcs with movies, series, animations, and much more. And some who will be built through other productions like Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl won't have a movie. She will appear in third-party productions, just like Guy Gardner. So which heroines will be in the Justice League International then? Normally in Keith Giffen's era, as I remember, you have Big Barda, right? She's a badass character. There's her Mr. Miracle Oberon. Oberon is that little old man, the dwarf, who takes on Scott Free's craziness, right? The escape artist, he helps him a lot with all that madness. Then you have Black Canary. She even has a different look. If I'm not mistaken, I think J.M. Miam DeMatteis has drawn her since her first appearances. She doesn't wear like a pajama type outfit with taller boots. I think she wears a headband, if I'm not wrong. I'll put her image there. And then from the heroines I remember, there are those 2, Black Canary, Big Barda, Kendra Saunders, right? Who is Hawkgirl? And so it's not that there will be very few heroines because the International League will probably have more members. Because think about it, Mr. Terrific, Metamorpho, Guy Gardner, Hawkgirl, and Booster Gold, so that's already 5, and just imagining who the others are, there are probably many members. And the Justice League of America, which I think I've already said here, is an adaptation. It's a version of the DCU. When you see that apocalyptic future in Creature Commandos, right, that timeline, I don't know, alternative, that is a glimpse that proves what I'm saying. Like, you have Starfire in that league, you have Supergirl, you have Wally West, whom the director confirmed was not Barry Allen, but Wally West. If I'm not mistaken, you can see Jon Stewart, Wonder Woman, Batman, Superman, and other characters. The International League is a Justice League, but like of B-list characters, let's say, because some are A-list, right? Like Hawkgirl, the Green Lantern himself, but it's a league that will have more members. So there will be more obscure characters, more unknown characters too. So to me, I think James Gunn will bring that side of the International League and that side of the Justice League of America. The International League side is still being mixed. Even more with the Superman saga he talks about. All these heroes will be in the same movie together, all of them there, even Metamorpho. James Gunn confirms that the heroes we saw in the Superman movie will return in that film, right? He said there are already those familiar faces because think like this. He needs to work both leagues. You can't build only one league and toss the other away. So these 4 characters are at the start of the DCU now and can be the base of the International League. So they appeared in the first film, appeared in the Peacemaker series, and in the next productions, they will not appear. They will not appear in the Supergirl movie. Only Guy Gardner will appear in the Lanterns series. So he will continue to be developed and such. And in the Clayface movie, no one will appear. Later, in James Gunn's movie, they will return. So you can become even more familiar with them. And then they can develop the characters and build the Justice League International. And alongside that, they will be working on Superman and Supergirl, because both will already have had their films by the time James Gunn's movie arrives. And when there's a trailer for that movie, you'll say, I really want to see that movie because I like Superman and I like Supergirl. I've already seen both of their films, you see. So they are building Superman, the family, right? Like the super family, let's say. Superman and Supergirl, Krypton there. Then they move on to Wonder Woman. Then they move on to Batman. The Lantern series builds the Justice League Lantern. Jon Stewart, trained by Hal Jordan. And then you move on to Batman. Then you move on to Wonder Woman. Meanwhile, the Justice League International is already appearing here. It's already being formed with this name, which is most likely provisional, which is the Justice Gang. Everyone expects this name to be provisional. In other words, this future of DC, they're going down 2 paths. In fact, they're going down a single path, right? Of building the 2 Justice Leagues. When you have these 2 leagues ready, then you bring in the Teen Titans, and then you'll see 3 major teams in the DCU. One team that will be more like James Gunn, another more like the Justice League, like with the world's greatest superheroes and more Earth legends and such. And another is the Teen Titans, which will be like a team of young heroes. So I think this path they're taking is very promising. They're not just bringing one Justice League, they're bringing 2. And then my big dream, which I don't even know if it will come true, but I have some hope, is to see the Justice League Dark, which for me is one of the best comic book teams of all time. And then there's something like Swamp Thing is going to have a movie, right? James Gunn has also talked about Boston Brand. He even posted a photo of Boston Brand and Detective Chimp. So these 3 characters are part of the Justice League Dark. Then there's the rebirth phase, which Wonder Woman's part of. At first, I thought the idea of putting Diana in there was stupid, but man, when you read it, you say, wow, she has everything to do with the Justice League Dark, and her and Zatanna leading the way is amazing. It's incredible. Detective Chimp is a really cool character, not to mention Swamp Thing. Man, when they release the Swamp Thing movie, I'm going to be the most hyped guy for that movie because I really like horror movies. I love Swamp Thing, and there's a good chance we'll see John Constantine in that movie, right? Because it's all very fitting, and they want to go more into the Alan Moore era, which is where Constantine first appears. So just wait until you see episodes 6 and 8. They haven't released episode 7 because it's between those 2 episodes, but James Gunn says it's episodes 6 and 8 with big appearances. Apparently, they're saying that up until episode 5, we'll see one story, and in episode 3, it's like another story, apparently. I don't know if that's exactly it, but it's as if the series up until episode 5 is short, and in episode 6, 7, and 8, it was bigger with a bigger budget. Something like that, right? Leave your opinion in the comments about everything you hope to see in episodes 6, 7, and 8 of Peacemaker. Which characters do you think will appear? I think Superman will appear, I don't know, in the final episode. Something will happen. Maybe Peacemaker will go to Metropolis. I don't know for some reason. As we saw in the movie, was he on that TV show, which was aired there? in Metropolis. He might have gone there, or something might have happened. I don't know. But that's it. Leave your opinions in the comments about all this if you think this could actually happen. All right, now on to our next news. Well, James Gunn was asked about Chris Pratt in the DCU. When asked if there's a chance Chris Pratt will play Batman in the DCU, that's the usual question people ask, and he said, as Batman? No. As something? Yes, Chris Pratt is one of my best friends. So James Gunn confirms here that Chris Pratt will be in the DCU. This means that there is a specific role that James Gunn has saved for the actor to play in this universe. He could be Booter Gold. I think he could be Booter Gold because he's a famous actor and someone who perhaps has a Booter Gold profile. So he's a famous actor who's worked with James Gunn. He's already visited the Superman set where James Gunn invited him to watch what he was doing. And now he's in the DCU, so he's practically confirmed. So expect this actor to appear at some point. What roles would you give Chris Pratt? I think Booster Gold is the perfect role for him. For two reasons. I think he has the Booster Gold profile, and I think he's an actor who would easily carry the series. This series, since it's a Booster Gold series, is like a solo series for the character. But there may be one or other characters there. That's normal, but it's a solo series for the character, who will most likely be in the Justice League in the future. I believe it's Justice League International because we're already seeing a movement toward Justice League International. So he's an actor who could very well carry this series in terms of charisma, presence, fame, and everything else. The Gladiator series is coming soon. I believe that this Booster Gold series in 2027, which they'll simply put into pre-production soon, next year for a release in 2027. Why do I say this? Because there's already a producer and showrunner. Recently, James Gunn said that a DCU series would soon be greenlit. And what does getting the green light mean in James Gunn's universe? It's having the script approved. So I believe Booster Gold is this character for Chris Pratt. Could it be another character? If you ask me, maybe someone we can't even imagine. I don't know. You have to think that James Gunn is putting together Justice League International. Anyway, folks, that's all for today. Comment below to let me know what you think. And don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.